Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope you're fine and fantastic. Back with non-fungible frameworks, and this time we're going to take a look at these frameworks played out in live calls. What I've done is I've amassed a handful of call recordings, both good examples and not so good examples of each of the frameworks, and we'll talk around how things go, how things could go differently, and my take on really how to precisely execute on each of the frameworks that I've outlaid before you in the previous modules. So, first up is, of course, rapport. So, let's get into a rapport example from a sales rep. This is a closed deal. I'll tell you the outcomes of all of the calls that we listened to today. This one is a close. I give this one on a scale of 1 to 5 a 3.5. I think that the rapport is a bit generic, and you'll see what I'm talking about here momentarily. So let me share my screen, share my audio, and let's get into rapport with these two gentlemen here.
No sweat, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Appreciate it.
No sweat, man. Where are you at?
I'm a little north of Boston, on the border of Mass and New Hampshire. I'm in Massachusetts, but about 45 minutes north of Boston.
Nice, man. How's it out there? You like it? I'm trying to move out. I'm trying to get out of Texas.
Aha, I've been here all my life. It's tough to beat what we've got. We're pretty fortunate where we have the mountains, we got the beach, we got the city, 4 hours from New York. I mean, we're in a great location where we are. I was just
Nice.
out in the yard. It's about 100 degrees out, and I'm laying sod in my backyard right now.
So if you notice, these are fine questions. There's nothing wrong with it. Where are you located, and how do you like it? Are you from there? What's things like with situation going on, whatever, time of year, make it relevant and make it timely. What I don't like about the response is the way that the salesperson asked the question. He said, how is it there? I'm trying to get out of Texas. I'm trying to move from where I am. And so this immediately puts you in a frame of basically complaining. It puts you in a less than frame. And people want to talk to people who are living their ideal lifestyle. Think of your own life. Would you rather sit and listen to a friend or a salesperson in this case complain about their situation? Or would you like to hear that people are making the decisions that are in alignment with their future ideal self? That'll come into play as the call goes on. Naturally, someone who's going to make a purchasing decision with you, they want to be on the phone with someone who they feel like is in alignment with their future. And so by you being happy and content with where you are means that you're the type of person that's taking action in your life, and that's in alignment with what you're going to ask this person to do as well. So be mindful of any negative self-talk or speak around your situation, and certainly around the prospect situation when it's not in the right time. So nothing too out of the ordinary there. It obviously, it's effective. It gets this prospect talking, opens up about what's going on in his day and his life and what he likes about living in the Boston area. Now let's keep listening as the call starts to transition into business.
So
Putting
I'm a
up a
little
bag.
disheveled here, sweating my butt off.
Nice. You
It's
got
all
like
good.
family, kids, Mike? You got
I got a 20-year-old son, 17-year-old daughter, married 20 something years. We love the beach. We love the lake. We got a camp up in New Hampshire, right on Ossipee Lake, which is a popular lake.
nice.
We got the boat, the jet skis. We love hanging out at the sandbar on the weekends.
Nice.
Making those memories, man. We work hard for what we do, and it's really
Amen.
about making those memories, And I've got a lot of good ones, and I look forward to
And those ones you don't want to talk about too, right?
great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those two.
So this is, again, effective to get the prospect talking, but it just kind of comes out of nowhere. You have a family, the kids, the whole thing. And so it's effective because it gets him talking about what's important to him. But a different question that I might have asked is, say, so Mike, when you're not running the agency or the business, what's important to you? What else are you doing? Are you usually doing stuff around the house like you were today? And that's going to get him talking about the same thing, but it just feels more in tune with the conversation based on what the prospect previously had said about where he's at in the world. So again, it's effective, it opens him up, but it just kind of comes out of left field that particular question.
We grow up over time, we learn and grow.
That's right, man. What's
Learn and grow. So my story here, I've been in the real estate business for 20.
So here we go. Just this prospect being the type of person that he is, an East Coast guy, someone that knows we're here to talk about business, and he's been pre-framed by a setter conversation previous to this conversation. He immediately just jumps into business and says, let me tell you my story, basically.
3 years. I sell between 25 and 30 homes every year. I've done that for 20 some odd years. So I've been very, very consistent with my business. I'll make between $140,000 and $180,000 a year selling real estate. I love what I do. I've got a knack for helping others. And so part of my interest in agency has a lot to do with the real estate community where I don't think there's a lot of good resources, but in my community, everybody's just flapping around like a flip.
So thus fairly concludes the rapport phase of the call. And, again, these questions were simple, they were effective, it got the prospect talking, which is really the goal of the rapport phase, because now what we have is we have a fair bit about the prospect's language patterns, their situation, again, what's important to him, and then we start to get the situation at hand in terms of his previous background in real estate, and now over the past couple of months to years, transitioning into the agency world as an agency owner. So this is a simple example of conducting a simple and effective rapport phase. Again, it doesn't have to be anything over the top. I typically will start with where they're at, what's going on in their life, what's relevant to them, and what's relevant to the time. As I'm recording this, it is just the turn of 2022. And so how's your new year? How was your holidays? Things like that that are timeline based. At the time of them recording this was, of course, summertime earlier this year. And so asking them if, he and his family in this situation is doing anything, up to anything. What's the priority? With his kids being a little bit older, going into college, this and that, getting out into the real world, finding some honest, authentic commonality between yourself and the prospect, and realizing that it's just two human beings here talking, and most human beings are more alike than they are different. So that's a fair example of conducting a good rapport phase. Again, my notes on it is making sure to be mindful of your negative self-talk, or just really your the impression that the prospect may have of you, your situation, and how you go about your life. And then making sure that the questions you ask in the rapport phase are relevant to what was previously said, discussed, or what's happening. Not pulling things out of left field that feel rather scripted and maybe a little bit, dare I say, intrusive before framing out the agenda of the call. So there it is, folks. Short and sweet and simple. Next, we'll take a look at how to really frame out a call and set a proper agenda in the next module. So I'll see you over there.